I do want to show you guys the whole reason this happened is this piece right here. It started leaking right there on that side. This little corner right here, that's where it was leaking at. Monkey Mike back here again. Thanks for joining me. This is Monkey Wrench, and I appreciate y'all being here. Today we are pulling the Miata pistons out. Those. So I'm going to be just taking off the rod caps here, and we're going to slide the pistons out and take a look at everything, see, hopefully it's all good. So we're going to be taking off these guys right here. I do already have them loose. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, they're loose by hand. That one off there. And we're going to want to remember the orientation of how this came off. So an easy way to remember that is go ahead and get yourself a pen. I got my trusty dusty big old Sharpie. And I'm just going to go ahead, smash it together, and just put a line on one side. Now I'll show you how I did that. As you can see there, it's a fairly identifying mark. It's only going to match up one way, and I'll do the other marks slightly different. And that'll help me know that that goes to that cap there. We may put a little bit more of an identifying mark on it later. But now I just grab the sides there, pull that up. Okay, and we can set this over on our towel. Mainly because of this marking here, we now know which side of the bearing in the cap go where. As you can see there, just a slight little push. It starts coming right out, and this is what you can see. I'm having to actually push on it. Now I'm going to take my hand, put it on the other side of the piston, which I will show you later. Woo! And that's how easy it comes out. You just want to be careful not to scratch the bore at all. And out she came. It was that simple. I just pushed on it like I said. You just want to be careful. The little pop you heard was the side here hitting this wall. It wasn't actually hitting inside the bore. So I'll try to give you a little bit better shot of that. But this is cylinder 4. So we're going to sit here because we're going to do 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have, whoops. There we go. We have our little Sharpie mark on this one here. So that we know that's the side right there. And we can see these things were dang near right next to each other too. That's not good. You don't want these this close. Not at all. That was not what I wanted to see. So all right then. We may get a set of new rings. I don't know. We'll see. But these are rod studs, as you can see. They don't have a bolt face up top here. They press in, they're splined. And that's how the bearing surface. Ooh. That's not good. Oh, man. Well, looks like we may be getting new bearings. We'll better inspect that shortly. I'm just going to go ahead and pull the rest out real quick. We'll get them sat over here, and then we'll inspect them, and we'll see what's what. Because right now, that's already telling me we may need to get oversized bearings or something, how the machine or the crank machined. And if that's the case, we'll probably just have it bored out too. I don't know, we'll see. All right, as you can see, I've got all these taken off. I took cylinder 3 apart, not for any specific reason, just because, I don't know, I guess it's the one that I picked. And as far as, I took the piston off. You can see the wrist pin is right there. This little deal just comes off with these here. You can just grab it, twist it, and pull it out. It's really simple. And then I was able to just tap the wrist pin out. It comes apart very easily. You can see there's the Miata piston. And then I did take the rings off this one as well. And the reason I did, you can see I have my fairly trusty old, I mean very old, this thing's probably older than I am, feeler gauges. And there's a reason for that. The reason I had it off is I stuck the piston ring in there. That's something I'm going to save and show you guys later. So that's what this whole thing right here has to do with. And we'll talk about that at another time. But let's go ahead and get back to this part. So after, oh, hold on. Let me turn this back over. All right, so I did some general inspections on the crankshaft itself, and everything looks fine. As far as the bearing wear that we saw, there's very, very little. This stuff you can't even, I run my fingernail over it and it's not catching or nothing. There's very, very little scoring. I think we just polish it and it'll be fine. And then we'll, like this one here, I can feel a tiny bit with my finger. This one, not at all. And what's weird is that cylinder 3's bearing actually looks the worst. And 4, if I remember right, didn't look that bad at all. So it's kind of whatever. But yeah, I guess we'll pull the main caps too, because if these bearings are bad, which they are, they're every one of them are bad. I mean, look at that. Yeah, here's the top and bottom on 4, which I guess 4. Oh no, I just did that. That's my fault there. A little scrape. But you can just see they're done. We're not even gonna mess with these anymore. You know, we've already got it apart. They don't look too bad at all. I mean, to be completely honest, I think this one, yeah, that was the worst right there. And some of that could or could not be from the metal shavings. I'm not really sure. I don't really care. It's like $32 or $35 for a pair of, I believe it's ACL race bearings. So I'm just going to go that route. And everything else looks real good. Piston ring or wrist pin looks really good. This is the bottom ring from here. I just pulled it out with this, but I'm going to wait because I do have a ring spreader that is on the way. It'll be a bit easier, mainly because it just keeps from scoring the piston at all, because I did put that tiny, tiny, tiny little scratch in it, but that'll buff out. I don't want to put any more in it. I'm pretty meticulous about how I go about doing stuff from time to time. That's why everything, I mean, even Leroy's heads are still wrapped up in the towels. It's just kind of how I do things. So with that said, yeah, I'm going to pull this oil pump off, which will be this guy right here. We'll pull the pump off, and once we do that, we can take off all the main caps. I guess we'll check this, so give me a minute. I'm going to do all that, and we'll see how the main caps look. And I guess this thing's getting all new bearings, because if those are bad, then I would imagine the main bearings are bad too. So whatever. All right, so we got all the oil pump bolts out. You have your one here on the side, the other one on the side. You have these two right here. And, well, these two in the center, and then these two, this one. And then it just pops out right off. Ooh. And as you can see, driven by the crank gear versus the little notching right there. Just sits in. So we'll just sit this guy off to the side with the head. Take all his goodies and just kind of sit him there for right now. And then we'll start with the caps. I'll likely take off these ones, or I don't know. I'm going to look it up, make sure there's no certain way to loosen them up. I don't believe there is. It doesn't make any sense. They're all just held in by bearings. We'll then set all these caps aside. I do want to show you guys the whole reason this happened is this piece right here. It started leaking right there on that side. This little corner right here, that's where it was leaking at. Just so you guys know, this piece, over time, who knows how many miles, because supposedly the story is this. First I was told this motor was rebuilt. Then I was told it was swapped from a 93 and put in here. None of that matches up. So far, everything points to this is a stock engine, stock internals, stock everything. Nothing has been replaced. This guy, man. But blessing in disguise, I'm kind of glad it happened because now we can spend some time to build this thing up a little bit and hopefully make a fair amount of power without it just falling apart. Blessing in disguise on the bearing side because I just would have roasted this one into the ground much like I did the Boxer that was in here. So with that said, now we'll just go to loosening all these, taking them off. I do believe this comes off as well. It should already be loose. Yeah, it looks like it is. Because I already unbolted everything on the inside there. So this guy here should come off as well. And then it should just pop right back off. I don't know. We'll figure it out here in a minute. But I know once the caps comes off, it just comes right out. So once that piece is out of the way, because obviously you have to lift it up. So, yep, we get that, and then I'll be right back. Well, guys, this is definitely a lesson learned situation. Never, ever, ever drill your oil pan and expect metal shavings to not get in your bearings. You can see right there. That's metal shavings. Obviously, that's metal shavings. So is that right there. It even made it into the front main cap and the rear as well. So there's our lesson learned. Hopefully there's no scarring. It doesn't look like it. It looks like I got really, really freaking lucky. Possibly those got in there just from the constant jostling of the engine and just me turning this by hand. I don't see any major gouging or pitting anywhere. We're going to take the crank off, obviously. We'll get to the bottom bearing, the bottom of the bearing that's sitting inside there. I have the main caps. They're sitting right here. They're just kind of hanging out. I'm just letting the oil soak into the towel because, man, that's just from sitting on there for just a minute. So I'm just kind of letting that do that. I like to try to be clean. As you can see, I've said it before. I know it's clutter, okay? This is clutter. This is what happens when you have a lot of crap. I got like 7 or 10 vehicles or some crap like that. I got way more than a guy with just a house like this and no job should have. So with that in mind, again, clutter, but clean. Nothing is going to get done that isn't going to be, clean. So those are going to hang out right there. And I guess I'll pull this out, go sit it over there. We'll inspect these real quick. There we go. All right, that's good. We're not seeing any in there right now. So that's a really good sign that maybe those shavings didn't exactly get into the bearing. I'm not exactly sure how it got onto the surface of the crankshaft, considering I just literally pulled these. And this one here, I pulled it off. This is sitting in orientation exactly how it would be on the engine. So this is closest to cylinder 4. This is cylinder 4. This is cylinder 4. So rear of the crankshaft where it bolts up to the flywheel, nose of the crankshaft, cylinder 1. So everything is sitting exactly how it would be. I don't see any at all on any of the main caps here, or the main bearings. So maybe it's just on, I don't understand. Maybe that's literally from the oil holes? I don't know. I mean, you guys saw it. It was on there. Ooh. Whoops. Yeah, you can see it right there. You can see the shavings. Crap. Thankfully, it's aluminum. Okay, so that's something that Aaron 802 Garage, my homie, he had mentioned earlier. That was one good thing is that they're aluminum and everything else. What I drilled, the oil pan is aluminum. Everything else is cast iron or steel. These are steel and then cast iron there. yeah, I don't really think that we're going to have a whole lot of issue. I think the only thing I'll probably do is I will likely have the crankshaft sent out and checked. I got a guy here in town who'll do it really cheap. And then we can get him to possibly balance it as well, just to check and make sure. And then from what I understand, how this works is this doesn't need the whole bob and stuff get up like you would like a V8 or something to that nature. Bob weights, I believe what they're called. So this would just go on and get spun up and make sure that it's zeroed out. And then this here, we would just balance these independently. So, you know, all the piston heads all would be the same weight. We could weigh it all together. I would do the rods separately, make sure all the rods are the same weight. And there's nice little tips and tricks here and there of things you could do. Some people weigh them both at the same time. We could get away with doing that. But I like having the pistons themselves, especially, matching, because that's the part you're throwing up. So there you go, guys. Everything's out. Again, I'm just going to let those kind of sit and soak all the oil up. Looks like it's doing pretty good right now. And I'm going to let the crankshaft just kind of hang out, go kick it with my kids for a bit. I just wanted to get this done and out of the way. I have a few more tools coming. I'm going to order some plastic gauge, but I think I might just have the crankshaft checked out anyways, just to be sure. I don't know. We'll see. What do you guys think? Should I just try to keep it out of the machine shop, plastic gauge it, maybe take a micrometer to it and check it out myself? Regular calipers are all I have right now, just these guys. So I could always just order the flat set deal. Everything looks good, especially on this side. I don't see any, I see a tiny, oh yeah, right there. Yep. But see how that aluminum just popped right off? And see, watch, it'll do it right here too. Yeah, see? It's pretty much just comes right off. So it definitely got in there. We can't say for 10 seconds and even try to fool it. Those metal shavings definitely made it inside the bearings. And I'm really glad that it started leaking and I pulled it apart. Or we'd be doing a whole new engine a whole lot earlier than I'd want to. If you stuck around this long and you want to know why we're building the 1.6 up a little bit, a lot of it's because I've already sunk quite a bit of money into the powertrain itself. And I'd like to at least, blow it up. I don't really want to blow it up. I'd like to see it make some good power until I've expended the power that comes from this motor, and I need the power coming from the other, from a bigger engine. So, yeah. That's it, guys. I don't know. I got anything else for you? Thanks for being here today. I appreciate you. And today's weirdness is, look, there's a hole right there and a nub here, and it looks like some sort of outlet. I have no idea what's going on there. I wonder if it's like an external cooler or something. But it definitely looks like a feed line where I could feed oil in there and dump it. I'm not really quite sure, guys. I think that's an interesting port there. So, all right, take care. Peace.